be. Baby, set me free. I'm on my knees, I'm begging you please. Won't you set me free? If you don't want me, baby, let me be. Oh baby, let me be. Oh baby, set me free. You treat me so bad, you make me so sad. Won't you set me free? If you don't want me, baby, let me be. Running around, what am I supposed to do? How can I keep loving you? Oh baby, let me be. Oh baby, set me free. I'm on my knees, I'm begging you please. Won't you set me free? If you don't want me, baby, let me be. Settle down, but you keep running around. What am I supposed to do? How can I keep loving you? How can I keep loving you? Oh baby, let me be. Oh, set me free. You treat me so bad, you make me so sad. Won't you set me free? If you don't want me, baby, let me be. Won't you set me free? If you don't want me, baby, let me be. Won't you set me free? If you don't want me, baby, let me be.
John Belushi, comedian and actor, born 1949, died 1982. You know what I like to do? Get fucked up. In the mouths of others, this statement would appear cocky. So much hot air. Coming from John Belushi, it was a sheer understatement. He was a haze of contradictions. A solid professional who turned up for work paralytic, a generous, lovable guy who alienated friends by preferring the company of hell-bound drug dealers. The image left behind by his untimely, if totally expected, early death is that of a wild man, a self-destructed comet, racked by his own insecurities. Sounds like my granddad. Poor bugger. Belushi was the Keith Moon of comedy. And he's in this book, but later on. The eldest son of Albanian immigrants, but it explains the Italian name, I guess. I think they're quite related. Same with Croatians and so on, but enough of the little ethno kind of cultural history lesson and back to it. Belushi was born in Chicago and became a star athlete at high school. What's more, he neither smoked, drank or did drugs. He couldn't find a more straight-laced kid. Keen on dramatics, Belushi formed his own comedy group when he left school, and word of his talent spread. In 1971, he was invited to join Second City, a leading comedy theatre in Chicago. Though part of an ensemble, it was Belushi who stood out. Belushi that the punters queued up to see. But already he could get dangerously out of control on booze, which he'd recently been introduced to and was making up for lost time. Movie critic Roger Ebert knew Belushi around this time. To put it cruelly, you'd put drinks into him like quarters into a jukebox, and he'd entertain everyone in the room. Fun for a while, but eventually, Belushi's behaviour got him banned from most of his local pubs. Another new comic joining Second City was Dan Aykroyd, and the two men discovered an immediate rapport. I always think of the actor Michael Rappaport, which is like rapport but with a stutter, basically. Often, Aykroyd took Belushi to a bar he owned in Toronto, Club 505 or 505. Yeah, maybe it is 505. If any Canadians or Toronto natives or whatever, people live in Toronto either way, because I know you say it like that too. No, if it's 505 or 505, just, feel free to comment. Right. Which is an after-hours speakeasy. Belushi loved the low-rent atmosphere of the place, and many a night like they knocked back the bootleg booze till dawn. Belushi loves sensations, loved toting on whiskey or cognac, and the sweet relaxation of smoking dope. Things got darker when he upped the ante and started dropping amphetamines. Sorry, this is my dyspraxia kicking in. Plus, I haven't got my reading glasses on, so, fuck me, right, in the words of Jonah Hill. And progressing to cocaine, the drug that took him over, the habit he'd never kick. The defining period in Belushi's career was his epoch-making appearances as one of the original cast members on Saturday Night Live's. God, that went to shit, didn't it? At least I think so. Along with Aykroyd and Chevy Chase. A massive success and launchpad for subsequent generations of American comics, those early days on NSL were hectic, with Belushi often doing drugs on the office floor or sleeping off booze benders on the couch, then going out to do the show live in front of millions. Yeah, sounds like a Jackie Gleason move, which he's also in this book later on. One time, a frantic assistant told NSL's producer, Lorne Michaels, that Belushi was in bad shape. One live at 11:30, yelled Michaels. He's not allowed to die until after the show. NSL made Belushi a household name, and he was personally chosen by Jack Nicholson to play a seedy Mexican bandit in his film Going South, 1978. People knew that the cocktail of drink and drugs Belushi was consuming altered his personality dramatically, but no one expected the sight that greeted them when he arrived late for the shoot, looking as if he hadn't slept for days. Shown his hotel room, Belushi insisted on staying with Jack in the more luxurious bungalows up the hills. The hotel is a sucko, man, he grumbled. Yeah, before I carry on with this, there's the whole... Before I started reading this, it made me think of... Because Belushi's pain in the ass, bumming around, crashing at friends' places and staying there for, outstaying his welcome makes me think of that old quote by Benjamin Franklin, or attributed to him at least. Guests and fish stink after 3 weeks, and he probably stayed there for at least a month anyway, so back to it. Back in the production office, producer Harold Schneider had the unenviable job, of calming Belushi down. It didn't work. He continued to talk in an incoherent fashion, and then picked up a large kitchen knife, which Schneider feared he intended to cause damage to himself with. Co-producer Harry Gittis arrived and was taking no crap from a TV comic. You're acting like a complete asshole. I don't know how he sounds, sorry. He blasted. Belushi seemed not to be hearing this. Instead, he collapsed in a convenient chair and fell asleep. What's this? Snapped Jack as he walked in. A crash pad? Get him out. Probably get him the fuck out, actually. Come to think of it. I like to think so. Yeah, as to what I said about the, Benjamin Franklin quote just kind of a bit earlier. Easier said than done. Stirred from his audible slumber, Belushi was wild and abusive, and a furious Schneider would surely have belted him one if he hadn't been restrained. It was a coin still rather hung over Belushi who emerged on set the next day full of apologies. Jack was having none of it. If Paramount or Top Brass had been here, your career in movies would be totally fucked. Yeah, I agree with him, actually. He got another chance with Animal House, 1978. Belushi was a screen natural, his face giving the permanent impression of demented anger lurking barely beneath the surface. Although his wild reputation preceded him, and he was socially quarantined in a house miles away from the rest of the cast. He still managed to put one in hell-raising appearance at a local college. At least he actually did it. Respect in a weird way. Introduced at assembly, he arrived on stage with a chainsaw and sliced the podium in half. What a knobhead. It's nice that his brother's still alive. Jim. I think he's still alive. Yeah, I don't really know much. The last thing I saw him in was a rewatch of Red Heat with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Meanwhile, his friendship with Aykroyd deepened. As all-night booze and drug binges became an increasingly common part of Belushi's life, Aykroyd now rarely indulged. His taste more sedate, happy with a six-pack of Moosehead Canadian lager, maybe a joint or two. Well, explains why he's still alive. You know, he knew when to take it easy. They looked out for each other too, though Aykroyd turned it to do with the majority of the looking. Or to do with the majority of the looking. Yes, idiot. Belushi had a habit of just nonchalantly walking out into the road, and more than once, Aykroyd pulled him back in the nick of time for a rushing vehicle. "He's Mr. Careful, and I'm Mr. Fuck It," Belushi said. It was inevitable that the unique chemistry the men shared would be exploited in the movies, and The Blues Brothers, 1980, was the perfect vehicle, if ultimately a fraught production with a spiralling budget and a manic Belushi. Shooting the famous car chase in the shopping mall come 3 o'clock in the morning, the crew have set up the final shot. Belushi had gone AWOL. Everyone was out looking for him. Aykroyd walked into a neighbouring street. Every house was dark save for just one, and he'd nothing to lose, so he knocked on the door. "I'm looking for John Belushi," the guy who answered said. "Oh yeah? It's asleep on my couch." He walked into a complete stranger's house and said, "Hey, I'm Belushi. I'm shooting this movie. I'm hungry. Got anything?" Yeah. Again, the Benjamin Franklin quote, if you've been listening. Yeah. Raided the guy's fridge and then crashed out. Yeah. Guess some fish, everyone. Another day on set, Belushi point blank refused to come out of his trailer. Director John Landis, I've been doing a series on him. Well, yeah, his book. Monsters at the Movies, which I highly recommend. Stormed inside to find a war zone. Belushi near comatose in a chair. The floor covered in a mixture of spilled cognac and piss, and a huge pile of cocaine on a table begging to be snorted. "John, you're killing yourself," Leo Landis, sort of stating the obvious. Belushi launched to his feet and staggered across the room like a reanimated corpse. Something snapped inside and Landis hit him full in the face. Hooray! About time somebody did it at that time. Belushi knew he had a problem. He was taking booze and quaaludes, a deadly combination that could have landed him in a coma, or worse. He submitted to a guard looking after him 24 hours a day, while Aykroyd must have flushed enough coke down the pan to pay off Colombia's national debt. Doctors too were telling Belushi that his craving for drinks and drugs would kill him, but he ignored it all. Money for cocaine was even built into some of his business deals. In the last few years of his life, the self-destructive button was hit big time. Going out on the town had to be an invasion, not just a quiet, relaxing evening. Heading to a new punk club in LA, he emptied 2 champagne bottles just on the drive over in the limo. Once inside, he hit the gin and then switched to Jack Daniels. He was out of control, his life ruled by his addictive personality. Where other friends had experimented with drugs and managed to give them up, Belushi never discovered how to stop. After a couple of big box office bombs, his career was also in steep decline, and he sought refuge not with friends but with drug vermin. Booking into a bungalow at the Chateau Marmont Hotel on LA's Sunset Strip, Belushi hooked up with an addict and drug dealer, Kathy Smith, who later described the actor's mental state as like a train going 9,000 miles an hour heading for a brick wall. Whether Belushi actually intended to kill himself or go as far out as he could to prove some kind of macho immortality bullshit thing, who knows? What's clear is that his last night on Earth he drank to excess at the Roxy nightclub on the Strip before returning to his bungalow. In the course of Belushi's descent into hell, comedian Robin Williams, a drug addict himself at the time, popped by to snort a few lines but left utterly creeped out by the druggy friends Belushi had there. "If you ever get up again, call," were his last words to Belushi. Robert De Niro also came by, leaving for much the same reason. I didn't know he knew Robert De Niro. Wow. He saw some fucked up things in his time, excuse my French. But you know, this book. So it's a given. Turning to Kathy, Belushi asked her to administer a speedball, which is, by the way, if you're a hip-hop fan, history fan like I am, is also what killed Old Dirty Bastard from Wu-Tang. But anyway, back to it. That's a hit of coke and heroin. Yeah, exactly. It makes you it makes you have like a confused AFib thing. You basically, your heart dies from shock. It can't decide what to do, up and down, so it just short circuits. Pretty nasty stuff. Thanking he'd merely passed out, Kathy left only to return a little later to utter pandemonium. Belushi's naked body had been found in the fetal position on the bed. "I'm going to die young," he told a journalist just a few weeks before. "I just can't stop destroying myself." Aykroyd was alone in his office in New York working on the script of Ghostbusters that he hoped Belushi would star alongside him when he took the call and learned that his friend was dead. He was shaken to the core, and for months afterwards, racked with guilt that maybe he could have done more to help. Then maybe I should have taken 2 or 3 of my friends and handcuffed him and put him in an institution just to turn him around, clean him up. Belushi wanted a Viking funeral, his body set aflame, and floated out to sea. In the end, it was more conventional, though not by much. Aykroyd organised a bluesmobile and all the boys were packed into it. Oh, that's been nice actually. They'd been drinking, and as they pulled into the cemetery with people weeping and looking suitably solemn, everybody got out and relieved themselves in full view. Yeah, they've been on the piss too. I guess it's like a bit of a show of respect to him, and people like to get drunk at funerals. I don't. Actually, sounds like a name for a good good name for a band. I don't drink at funerals. About any musical talent. Oh, excuse me, big gassy. For years, whenever Aykroyd drove by that cemetery in Martha's Vineyard, he honked his car horn long and loud, just on the off chance Belushi might hear his old friend passing through. The pain and loss never healed. As one obituary read, his tragedy came in never realising that drugs aren't rebellious, a common flaw in counterculture heroes. Belushi died a messy death, just like any other junkie.